Hello everyone, my name is Dominic Carvajal and my artist is Sherry Levine. Sherry Levine is an American photographer, sculptor, and conceptual artist. She was born in Hazleton, Pennsylvania, but she grew up in St. Louis, Missouri. She would always visit the St. Louis Art Museum with her mother, who loved to paint and was also a famous artist. That's where she got a lot of her influence from as a young child. She was born on April 17, 1947, and she is still alive today, making her 75 years old. Sherry mostly shot in film, specifically using black and white film. Some of her popular photo series that I will mention later in the presentation are titled After Walker Evans from 1981 and After Rodchenko from 1987. Some of her popular books are titled After All, Hong Kong Dominoes, and October Files. In her books, she includes all of her works and the techniques behind them and how she created them. She also compares her art and photographs to the original artist's work so viewers can see what she changes about them. About her work. She is most commonly known for rephotography, which consists of reproducing photographs that have already been taken. She takes older photographs from other photographers and recreates them as her own, and then she creates different photo series based off of these artists. One of her most popular works, in which she received lots of controversy from, is titled After Walker Evans. She includes photographs that were originally taken by artist Walker Evans during the Depression era in the early 1900s. She had her first solo exhibition at the Metro Pictures Gallery in New York in 1981, in which she presented her photo series After Walker Evans and presented the photographs as her own work. She received lots of love but tons of hate as people felt like she was stealing the artist's work. The photo series was a serious scandal, but yet a big success in the New York art scene. Sherry believed that rephotography wasn't about stealing other artists' work. Instead, she viewed it as a collaboration with other artists, transforming masterpieces into something organic and continually renewable. Sherry would find catalogs or prints of the original pieces and then scan them or take photos of the catalog or printed image. She would then make a few minor tweaks and edits to the photographs and later call them her own. Sherry introduced us to postmodernism and her series After Walker Evans expresses postmodern ideas. In previous generations, artists were praised for the ability to create new ideas and objects. Originality was the key, and artists were expected to be independent creators of objects and their meaning. In the age of postmodernism, the act of interpretation was more important than the act of creation. Artists were free from the expectations of originality, and what mattered most was how artists could interpret, reconfigure, and repurpose already existent works and ideas to create and bring new meaning to them. Sherry's goal with her photographs and art were to bring more life into already existing works and create a new view on them. So now I'm going to show you guys not her first photo series, but one of her most popular and most known photo series. It's titled After Walker Evans. In this photo series, she reproduced photographs that were taken originally by the photographer Walker Evans during the Depression era in 1929 to like the early 1940s. First off, this is one of the most popular images in the series. It's an image of a farmer's wife during the Depression era. It's originally taken by Walker Evans. His image is on the left and Sherry Levine's is on the right. She basically found the image in a catalog. She scanned the image, made a few tweaks, a few edits to it, and then she repurposed it and made it her own. This image is popular because it's said to bring like emotion, and a lot of people say like as you stare into the woman's eyes, you could feel like what she's thinking, her emotion, and her feelings. It almost feels like she's staring like right back into your soul, and that's why it's very popular. This is another photograph from the series After Walker Evans 3. This is the farmer, the woman's husband. This is After Walker Evans 2. This is their family. They had 5 children. The farmer is in the middle, the wife is on the right, and the oldest daughter is on the left, and then their 4 little children. All of these images are part of the same series. They're just titled by number. So that's why this one is After Walker Evans 2, this one is After Walker Evans 3, and so on and so forth. This is After Walker Evans 22. It's a billboard from the Depression era. This is After Walker Evans 8. I believe this is a dining table or like some sort of shelf. Can't really tell, but I just like how you could see all like the little frames. You could see other images within the image, and the details are very minor, but I feel like it adds a lot to the image itself. And then this is After Walker Evans 10. It seems like some sort of office. There's just a piano, some benches, and then like the secretary's report. I'm not sure where this was taken at, but that's what's seen in the image. And I'm not sure if it's just because these images were taken in the Depression era, but you could feel some type of like loneliness when you're staring at them and like observing them. It might be the black and white filter as well, adding like a more sad effect to it, but you could feel the loneliness in the images. Moving on, this is another photo series inspired by the artist Alexander Rodchenko. He was a sculptor, he was a photographer, a graphic designer. He was also one of the founders of constructivism, which is like an art form that has to do a lot with geometric shapes, minimal color palettes, and like overlaying a lot of images and designs over each other. For this photo series, she did the same thing as After Walker Evans. She took his photographs, scanned them, made a few edits to them, and then she put them out as her own. Here's After Rodchenko 3, After Rodchenko 4, After Rodchenko 10, and After Rodchenko 6. This is a 12 photo series, but these are just 4 images that I like the most from the actual series. I like this photo series better than the After Walker Evans one, but the other one is more popular and more known. The reason I like this one a bit more is because of how like detailed the images are, and they also remind me of like editorial type photo shoots. I like looking at magazines, and a lot of editorial photo shoots are seen in magazines, so it reminds me of that. And these images also remind me of like fashion advertisements. A lot of fashion companies or brands take a lot of inspiration from like the older generations and like the aesthetics back then. And I feel like these remind me of those advertisements. I like this one because they captured him like mid jump, jumping into a large body of water. You could see the people like watching him on the boardwalk or the pier. I'm not sure what it is, but they captured him perfectly. And I just love like the color. This one reminds me again of another fashion advertisement. Something I would see like on Chanel, or something I would see on like Dior. And some questions I have for you guys are: what are your thoughts and opinions on rephotography? Would you consider it as stealing other artists' creations? And another question I have is: how would you feel if someone were to take your work and present it as their own? Would you feel like they took advantage of your work? Would you feel like, would you be cool about it since they were influenced by your work? How would it make you feel if someone just took it, rebranded it, and put it out as their own? Personally, I it depends for me. I feel like if they were to take my work and put it out as their own and didn't give me any credit whatsoever, then I would feel kind of like I was taken advantage of. But if they did put it out as their own and they did give me credit and people knew it was influenced by my work, then I would feel I would feel better about it. Um, and I would let it slide. I personally like the idea of rephotography. I like how Sherry Levine described it as like some sort of collaboration and bringing more meaning to an image that already exists. Um, but if you are just stealing an image and not giving any credit to the original artist, then I could see why it's not a good idea. But if you are giving the credit to the original artist, then I think it's a cool idea. And yeah, that's pretty much it. That's all I have for you guys. Thank you guys for listening to my presentation.